A very good morning. This presentation is brought to you by Resonate International with a mission to leverage knowledge worldwide. The topic being covered is the global arms industry's ethical dilemma, profits of war versus genuine sovereign defense. Ladies and gentlemen, the global arms industry has become an immense economic force, continually expanding in the shadow of conflict and tension. Since the end of World War II, the global armament industry has grown into an exceptionally profitable, multi-trillion-dollar enterprise. The industry now spans across major corporations, government entities, and complex networks that fuel both legitimate defense needs and illegal arms flows. In 2023, global defense spending reached $2.24 trillion, a testament to the sheer scale of this industry. As nations seek to protect their sovereignty, balance power, or pursue foreign interests, the production and sale of arms have generated trillions of dollars for the arms industry. The economic and political forces that shape this industry reveal a complex relationship between national defense and private profit, often at the cost of human security and global peace. This raises ethical questions about whether the world's safety or industry profit margins are truly being prioritized. Let us look at the industry landscape and financial scale involved. The modern armament industry took form post-World War II, with superpowers like the United States and the Soviet Union establishing large-scale military manufacturing networks. By 2023, the US alone accounted for roughly 39% of global arms exports, with Russia and major European nations close behind. Defense giants such as Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and BAE Systems have become indispensable suppliers, not only to their home nations, but also to numerous allies worldwide. The world's top defense contractors, including the US-based Lockheed Martin, UK's BAE Systems, and France Dassault Aviation, collectively earned close to $400 billion in revenue in the year 2022. Lockheed Martin alone reported a staggering $66 billion in sales, and Raytheon follows closely with $67 billion in annual revenue. The 10 top companies, primarily based in US and Europe, command nearly half of global defense production, while also significantly investing in R&D. These R&D funds drive constant innovation, from advanced missile systems to cyber warfare tools, ensuring competitive advantage and continued growth. The earnings and profitability of these companies is simply staggering, as global defense expenditure crossed $2 trillion, a figure expected to rise amidst escalating regional tensions. Further, these companies are not merely suppliers but political players, lobbying with considerable budgets to influence defense policies and secure government contracts. Securing government contracts often involves intensive lobbying and leveraging political connections. In the United States alone, defense companies spent over $100 million on lobbying in the year 2022, funding campaigns, think tanks, and consultancy groups that shape policies favorable to military expansion and arms exports. Internationally, defense deals frequently involve state visits, high-level summits, and sometimes covered negotiations, with many contracts tied to broader geopolitical alignments. Governments are frequently pressurized by both corporate and political interests to increase defense budgets, often justified by regional insecurities or international arms races. Notably, the US, Russia, China, France, and Germany dominate as the world's largest arms exporters, collectively responsible for over 75% of global arms sales. To illustrate the scale of this industry, consider the staggering price tags associated with some of the top arms on the market. An F-35 fighter jet costs around $80 million per unit, while a single Patriot missile system costs approximately $1 billion, with each individual missile priced at $3 million. Tanks such as the M1 Abrams cost $9 million each, and advanced drones like the MQ-9 Reaper are priced between $16 to $20 million. Even basic armaments like Tomahawk missiles cost roughly $1.5 million each. These figures demonstrate the immense resources allocated towards military buildup, resources that in conflict translate directly into economic gains for the manufacturers. The armament industry has experienced steady growth with a 5 to 7% annual increase over the past 5 years. This surge has corresponded with conflicts in Syria, Ukraine, and escalating tensions in East Asia. Each new conflict or a new escalation stimulates demand as nations race to modernize their forces or acquire advanced systems, directly fueling profits for the arms industry. Conflict zones, including those in Syria, Yemen, and Ukraine, often also become de facto testing grounds for new weapon systems for these corporations. Advanced drones, missile systems, and surveillance technology are frequently used in these regions, providing real-world feedback on weapon performance and effectiveness. This practice, while unregulated, allows defense companies to refine products based on battlefield performance, which in turn can enhance sales and sale pitches to potential buyers. What are the top exporters and importers involved in the arms industry? The United States, Russia, France, Germany and China dominate arms exports, with the US holding, as we said, nearly 39% of the market share, with sales exceeding $175 billion in 2022, with major sales going to NATO allies and key partners in the Middle East. Russia follows as the second largest exporter, supplying to India, China and several African nations. France, Germany and the UK also play significant roles, each with export values exceeding $10 billion annually. Notably, these nations often tailor arms sales to their foreign policy interests, linking weapon sales and supplies to broader military and economic alliances. The top importers include Saudi Arabia, India, Egypt and Australia. Saudi Arabia alone accounted for approximately 11% of global arms imports, spending over $20 billion, much of it on advanced US-made systems like the F-15 fighter jets. India, amid regional tensions, has diversified its imports, purchasing from Russia, France and the US, with an annual defense import value of $13 billion. These purchases are often motivated by regional conflicts or perceived threats, creating demand for high-tech, high-cost weaponry. The arms companies spend billions annually on R&D, as we talked. $20 billion in 2023 alone. Lockheed Martin invested $1.3 billion in R&D in 2022. This was to create sophisticated high-tech weaponry, including AI-driven systems and autonomous drones. While these advances push technology boundaries, the emphasis on military applications over peaceful innovations raises questions about priorities. The arms industry often operates under a veil of secrecy, justified by national security concerns. This obscurity limits public awareness and shields companies from scrutiny, even as their products influence global stability. Few public discussions tackle the ethical ramifications of profiting from conflict, leaving the industry's more controversial aspects unexamined. While legitimate arms trade is heavily regulated, unrecorded transactions also occur, often facilitated by government agencies pursuing foreign policy goals. Illicit arms trafficking has become a parallel economy driven by black markets and conflict zones in regions like the Middle East and Africa. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimates that the global trade in illicit arms is valued at $1 billion annually, with unregulated arms fueling civil wars, terrorism, and violent crime. Such black market activities often have ties to legitimate defense networks, making regulation challenging and contributing to cyclic violence in vulnerable regions. The total value of arms stockpiled by major military powers is estimated at over $2 trillion, with the US alone holding inventories valued above $1 trillion. This vast inventory underscores the readiness for escalation and the industry's ability to continue supplying even during prolonged conflicts. Such unchecked growth highlights an urgent need for regulatory measures. Current frameworks, such as the UN Arms Trade Treaty, are a start, but enforcement remains weak and compliance is voluntary. A recalibrated, comprehensive, globally enforced framework is thus essential to ensure arms are directed towards legitimate defense, not profit-driven conflict. Addressing the impacts of the global armament industry requires a multi-pronged approach. First, international regulatory frameworks must be strengthened with greater transparency in arms exports and mandatory compliance with the Arms Trade Treaty. Furthermore, arms exporting countries should be held accountable for the end use of their products, especially in conflict-prone regions. The establishment of an independent global body with monitoring authority could help trace arms flows and deter illegal sales. The role of public awareness and advocacy is also crucial. Civil society must press governments to prioritize human security over corporate profit. It is therefore vital to acknowledge the defense sector's contributions to national and international security for sure. Technologies pioneered by defense contractors such as satellite systems, cybersecurity protocols, and missile defense have dual-use applications beneficial for both civilian and military purposes. These advancements provide critical infrastructure for national protection and emergency responses. Legitimate defense manufacturing can act as a stabilizing force, offering deterrence against hostile actions, provided that sales are conducted responsibly within a robust regulatory framework. Defense companies are often led by individuals with government, military, or intelligence backgrounds, which deeply influences the corporate vision. These board members hold vast networks and possess insights into both national security needs and industry dynamics. A reorientation towards ethical, transparent practices could guide these companies towards innovations in defensive rather than offensive weaponry, further aligning the industry with broader peacekeeping and humanitarian goals. While the arms industry is necessary to maintain national defense, it is the lack of regulatory oversight and political accountability that enables unchecked profit motives. A shift in industry practices focusing on defensive capabilities and reducing the industry's stake in conflict is crucial. Governments and international institutions must prioritize peace and establish stronger regulations. When responsible policy making leads the way, the arms industry could sustainably support foreign sovereign defense while diversifying into peaceful applications. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the international community must confront the paradox at the heart of modern warfare, that peace cannot be achieved while conflict remains profitable. The global arms industry also embodies an ethical paradox. It is indispensable for defense, yet its profit from conflict fuels instability. The responsibility rests with world leaders, regulatory bodies, and the companies themselves to prioritize a stable, peaceful world over the profits of war. If peace and constructive international relationships are prioritized, this industry can still thrive by reinventing itself, producing innovations that enhance safety and stability rather than conflict. Addressing this dilemma is not only a strategic necessity but a moral imperative for a more secure and balanced world. Good luck, best wishes, and God bless.